This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to day 2 session of this Atal FTP. In this day 2 of Atal ADP, of Atal FTP, in this starting session, as one of the participants requested to show or to explain some of the softwares using which we can simulate the working of Arduino. So here in this day 2 session, we have a software by the name Proteus. So without any further ado, I welcome you all and let's get started. So in this session, we'll go through circuit simulation using a software by name Proteus. So these are the contents through which I'll be taking you through, wherein we'll get to know what is Proteus software and why are we supposed to make use of this Proteus software, followed by advantages of Proteus software, followed by we'll have a walkthrough Proteus ISIS integrated development environment walk, and we'll get familiarized with all the options that which are available on Proteus ISIS IDE environment, followed by hands-on minds-on session. So first of all, what is Proteus? This Proteus design suite is a electronic design automation tool that which is having acronym EDA. EDA is nothing but acronym for electronic design automation tool, and it includes schematic capture followed by simulation, and also using the same software I can also design PCB layout modules. So schematic capture is a place wherein I can call on the components that which are required for my project and I can make interconnection. So this is schematic capture wherein we'll make use of all the components, followed by we have this simulation wherein after connecting the components, let's say I'll be connecting some component to 1 with that of component 2, and if I want the real time working of this, if I want to simulate this at real time, so what I can do is, so this Proteus design suite has its own simulator wherein I can also write firmware. So this Proteus design suite is so powerful that it has its own firmware wherein I can write software code, or I can make use of third party IDE. I can make use of third party IDE using which I can. So using some third party IDEs, I can also generate this hex file and I can in turn make use of this hex file in my Proteus software. So this is how flexible this Proteus design suite is. So after schematic capture as well as simulation, if I'm okay with all my design, I can design my PCB layout. I can reroute all the wires, and in turn I can have a good PCB layout. Now let's see why Proteus is essential. Let's say if you are good in programming but not much in electronics and want to test circuit first, then Proteus tool is a perfect tool. Because if you are from a non-electronic background like CS or IS branch, or it can be mechanical or civil, and you are quite interested in electronics, all you're interested in learning electronics, but the thing is, if you directly make use of hardware, let's say you would directly buy some hardware, because you would be not be so much familiar with the voltage rating of those hardware units, because most of the hardware units in electronics are low power devices. You might end up burning out the hardware, and this hardware might be costing you few dollars. So the thing is, if you are good in programming, so specifically I'm speaking specifically with CS and IS students, let's say you are quite good in programming but not much in electronics, so and hence you want to test your circuit first, and if everything is fine, then Proteus tool is the perfect tool for you guys. So in the software, you can test your program code by loading the hex file in the circuit and test proper functioning of the circuit. So, and we also know that our student community won't be so interested in investing more money for buying components, for buying electronic components. So for such kind of students, what we as professors can do is we can suggest them to go for Proteus 2, Proteus EDA tool. Now let's see the advantages of Proteus. So this Proteus software gives a proper idea before implementing on hardware. So we can get to know how exactly the connections are to be made. So before we actually implement it on a hardware. So by the time when you implement the same thing on the hardware, you would be knowing it's working and all, and you would have an idea of your output. And this also reduces the time. So if your project time, if you are having a span of your project, let's say you are trying to realize a project prototype within certain time, so it's better to go for Proteus software, wherein you can have an idea of how exactly the connections are to be made and what would be the expected result. So this actually reduces the time to the market of your prototype. Followed by, it also reduces the project cost. Mainly it reduces the project cost, because if you're trying to experiment by buying hardware directly, you might end up burning out few hardware devices, electronic devices, by the time your prototype is actually realized. So thereby here, using Proteus software, or by using Proteus tool, it reduces our project cost by a lot amount. So this Proteus is a product of Lab Center Electronics Limited. It's a product of Lab Center Electronics Limited, and you can download this software by using this URL. All you got to do is you got to open up any URL, any browser, and in the URL section you got to type www.labcenter.com, wherein you got to search for Proteus, and even though it's a proprietary software, you can download the demonstration version and this demo version is quite good for learning purpose. And if your institution is quite interested in buying, so I suggest you to buy this software, because it will give a better idea for students on how to conduct or how to realize a concept on paper. So this Proteus has two units in it. One is ISIS, that which stands for Intelligent Schematic Input System, and this section of software is used for schematic capture as well as simulating these whatever components that which we have used. And it also has one more component in it, and it's it's known by the name ARES, that which stands for Advanced Routing and Editing Software, and this ARES is used to produce PCB layout drawings. So for time being, what we'll do is we'll not concentrate on this PCB layout drawing, but instead of that, we would mainly concentrate only on schematic capture as well as how to simulate whatever schematic capture or components that which we have interconnected. So we'll only concentrate on these two sections, that is schematic capture as well as simulation section. And these two things are mainly associated only with ISIS part of Proteus software. So before I take you through this Proteus ISIS IDE integrated development environment, what I'll do is I'll open up a browser. Wherein all you got to do is you got to type Proteus software in the URL section. You can either go to the very first link, that which is given by www.labcenter.com, or you can go for labcenter.com followed by downloads. So as you can see, Proteus Lab Center Electronics, they have come up with this Proteus, and they have also given this for demo version. Only thing is, this demo version is associated with few limitations. That is, you can you cannot take printouts of your schematic layouts, and you cannot save your work. You cannot simulate your own microcontroller designs. So, but the thing is, we can make use of this demo version to learn. So all you got to do is you got to hit on this download the demonstration version here. So what I'll do is I'll copy this URL and I'll paste it in the chat section. Now the thing is, I can take you through the actual download process as well as installation process. So I can take you through the actual download as well as followed by installation process. But this installation takes a lot of time. So, and hence I'll be skipping this part. All you can do is make use of the link that which I have pasted in the comment section or in the chat section for downloading the software, and later you can install it. All you got to have is a good internet connection for installation, or else it hangs in between. So right after installation, when you open up a new project, so this is what you will get, and this is where this is the schematic capture area. So the thing that which is given within this rectangle, blue colored rectangle. So this is where we can place all the components, and we can wire them. This is where wiring can be done, as well as if you keenly observe on the left bottom corner, here, you can see play button, pause button, as well as stop button, and we can make use of these to simulate our design. So right after placing all the components and followed by wiring, we can straight away go for simulating our design just by click on this play button. And in order to call this, in order to place all the components, so we are having this component mode. And in our next slide we'll be going through that. So under Proteus ISIS mode, we have all these options. One is selection mode, component mode, junction dot mode, wire level mode, text script mode, bus mode, sub-circuit mode, terminal mode, device pin mode, graph mode, active pop-up mode, generator mode, probe mode, virtual instrumentation mode, followed by all these 2D graphics. So here mainly we'll make use of terminal mode, component mode, followed by virtual instrumentation mode. So for component mode, we require this component mode to select required components, and we can also do that just by clicking P icon for place component, or simply press P from our keyboard. So if I zoom in this, here you can see P over here. So just by left clicking this P, we can enter into place component mode, or what other approach we can do is we can press P key from our keyboard. Just by doing that, we can in turn have, so this Proteus software will in turn return with us with a new window titled Pick Devices, wherein if I'm supposed to search, if I'm trying to look out for a specific component, all I got to do is I got to enter the keyword in this field. If I'm trying to look out for a resistor, all I got to do is I got to type resistor. After typing resistor, I got to hit enter, and this will filter out me only the resistors that which are available on Proteus IDE. And I can also have a view. I can also have a PCB preview down over here, as well as I can also have a schematic preview over here in this section. So as you can see that I have typed keyword as RES, that which stands for resistor, and this Proteus is returning me one result, that is device is res register, that will stand for register. Library, it is available under library devices, and description is generic register symbol. Now the thing is, if you carefully observe here, under schematic capture preview, I can have an idea of how exactly this register actually looks like, as well as I can also have a PCB preview. So right after schematic capture and simulation, ultimately, if at all, if we are trying to design the PCB, we can also have this PCB preview over here, wherein we can get to know its actual dimension and all. So after selecting this register, all I got to do is I got to press OK. If at all, if I need that component, all I got to do is tap on this OK. Followed by the other option that which we majorly use is instrumentation mode, wherein here specifically will make use of this virtual terminal. So because we'll be taking up few Arduino examples, wherein in our day one session we did went through how exactly we can get to know the values of sensors in serial monitor. We can have the same values in this virtual terminal, or it's also called as hyper terminal. And we do also have I2C serial peripheral interface. We do also have oscilloscopes, signal generator, logic analyzer, pattern generator, frequency time counter. We do also have DC voltmeter, DC amp meters, AC voltmeter, as well as AC amp meter. But right now we majorly concentrate on this virtual terminal. And under simulation section, we are having this play, step, pause and stop button. So while simulating our schematic capture, what we can do is we can make use of all these buttons. We can make use of all these buttons in order to simulate our schematic capture. And the other thing is, we got to make sure that we got to keep on saving our project right after any change. And while simulating our project, we cannot save our project. All we got to do is we got to stop the running project and we got to make some changes, followed by saving our project. Only then we got to again go for play button. So as I said, we can save this schematic diagram, and in order to save this schematic diagram, all I got to do is I got to go for file and I can select export graphics, wherein I can select any of the picture format wherein I got to export my schematic capture, and we usually prefer either PDF file or bitmap file. So let's see how to include the library files. So because Proteus EDA tool has its own limitation. It cannot, we cannot find each and every other library files under this Proteus EDA. So we can, but the thing is, researchers have worked on this Proteus EDA and they have created their own library files that which can easily be used for EDA, for Proteus EDA. And because this Arduino is one such development board, so researchers have worked for on this Arduino and they have created Arduino library files that which can be installed on Proteus EDA tool. And here are the steps in order to install the Arduino related library files on Proteus. So all we got to do is we got to download Arduino tep.lib as well as Arduino tep.idx, and we got to paste this, and we got to paste these two files under library, and I can get this path. So this is for newer versions of Proteus like Proteus 8. So in order to find library for Proteus 8, all you got to do is you got to follow this path. C drive, you got to hover to C drive, followed by program data, and let me tell you, this program data will be hidden. And in order to have a look at this folder program data, all you got to do is you got to check show hidden items. Show hidden items. So here under C drive, you can see that under, so let me zoom in. So under view, you can see that here is where we can enable this hidden items. In order to look at the hidden items, all I got to do is I got to check this option. Only then I can have a look at our OS related files. These are hidden because in order to protect OS related files, they are hidden. And this is where I can find my program data. Under program data, I got to hover my mouse to, or else I got to find a folder by name Lab Center Electronics. Under Lab Center Electronics, Proteus 8 Professional, and this is where I can find library. And this is the folder wherein you got to paste the Arduino related library files that which I will be sharing with you. So you can see that here is where I have pasted the Arduino related library files. So just by pasting Arduino related library files, I can call Arduino component or Arduino schematic capture under Proteus. Now let's take up few examples and let's see how exactly we can work on Proteus EDA tool. So this is where I'm having my shortcut. So this is where we are having our Proteus 8 Professional installed. So all I got to do is double click on this icon in order to launch this program. So this is Proteus Design Suite version 8.9, and in order to create a new project, all I got to do is I got to hit on this new project. Now after hitting create new project, so this is where it pop-ups a dialog box, a new window titled new project wizard. So here is where I can give some relevant name, and let our very first project be very simple project wherein we'll be trying to do Blinky experiment, and this project will be saved under C drive users, whatever your administrator admin name is, followed by documents, and here is where you got to hit on new project, type hit next, and by default it will ask you to create schematic capture, and it will ask you for schematic capture size, and by default let it be let's have the default size of schematic capture. Hit next, followed by, here we mainly concentrate only on schematic capture as well as simulation, so thereby let's select do not create PCB layout. And if at all, if you want to create a PCB layout of your design, you can go for the other option, but for time being let's not create PCB layout. After that, hit next, and here it will ask you to it will ask you whether you need a firmware for this project or not, and here is where you can, depending upon your Arduino or Raspberry Pi, or if at all if you are using some other development boards or microcontroller like 8051, or there are a lot of other available microcontrollers like ARM7, Cortex series, M0 series, M3 series, M4 series, as well as PIC microcontroller, MSP430. They are all available. For time being, what we'll do is we'll not have such firmware for our project, and we'll make use of third-party IDE in order to generate hex file. So for that purpose, I'll select no firmware for this project. After that, I'll hit next, and I'll hit finish. And this is what it will return. So this is the area wherein I can place my components. And in order to place my components, all I got to do is hover my mouse to this component mode. After that, I got to hit on this place mode, place component, and under keyword field, I got to type. So because right now I am trying to do this Blinky experiment, and let's try to perform this without Arduino, or let me explain you the circuit first. So right now what we'll try to do is we'll try to do this blink without Arduino first. And in order to do that, the components that which I require are, one is VCC, that which is of 5 volts, followed by an SPST, single pole single throw. So this, we call this as a switch, we call this as a switch, and this is known by the name SPST, single pole single throw. And right after this single pole single throw, what I got to make use of is an LED, and you can go for LED of any color of your choice, followed by ground. So this will be our circuit connection, and whenever I close this switch, SPST switch, I'll have a full circuit wherein current right now can flow from here to ground, and in turn this forward biases are LED, and this in turn forward biases are LED, and in turn our LED will glow. So this will be our, this simple circuit will be our very first Proteus project. So for this purpose, let's first place components that which we require. The very first component that which I require is SPST. followed by LED, followed by VCC, followed by ground. So these are all the components that which I require. Let's try to place all these components one by one on Proteus. So under keywords, let me type SPST. So right after doing that, this pick device window is returning me with a lot of options, wherein I got to go for this SW SPST. So I can hit on, and here is where I can also have a preview of how exactly that component looks like. Now the thing is, I got to hit on OK, and right after doing that, I can place this component anywhere or in any section of this window. So let me zoom in a bit. So you can make use of Control plus in order to zoom in, or there are a lot of icons available here in order to zoom in. Okay, right now we have placed SPST switch, and right after this I require LED, and let's search for LED. You can see that there are a lot of components available. So here for time being, what I'll do is I'll select LED BIBY. So after placing this LED, I can also rotate this LED for my orientation. So what I'll do is I'll rotate this anti-clockwise, followed by the next component that which I require is power, which can be got under terminal mode. So hit on terminal mode. Let me zoom in. So this is the terminal mode. Under terminal mode, all I got to do is I got to select power, and I got to place that power here, followed by ground. Now we are left out with wiring, and by default in Proteus EDA tool we'll be in wiring mode, and you can see that this mouse has got converted into a pen, and if I hover this pen near to any of the component terminal, so I am getting a red color square around it, so that which refers that to be a node, and I can start my wiring from that end. So all I got to do is I got to left click on it, and I can drag this wire, and you can see that as soon as I reach one of the terminals of other component, again I am getting a red colored square box, and that means that the connection is intact, and in order to connect it, all I got to do is simple left click. So right now you can see that our contact is intact. So right now we have connected our VCC to one end of SPST switch. And if I hover my mouse again to the other terminal, again I'll be getting a wire, and you can see that wherever I move this mouse, the wiring is coming along with it. Now all I got to do is I got to connect it to one end of my LED. So let me connect the other end of this LED onto the ground. So right now we are done with our circuit connection. Now all I got to do is run this simple project. And in order to run this simple project, down here I am having this run the simulation or the play button. All I got to do is I got to click this, and you can see that initially it loads all the library files, and it has started animating. That is, it has started to run. And over here, red colored square box here refers to logic 1, and blue colored square box refers to logic 0 or the ground. Now here this LED is not glowing because this circuit is not complete, because this SPST switch is in open condition. And if I want this LED to glow or circuit to get completed, all I got to do is I got to close this switch. Just by left clicking on this switch, I can have this LED glowing. And if I want to remove this connection, I can do so by again left clicking on this. It is as simple as that. So right now we did got an idea of how to simulate some basic circuit, but that's not the end, because we want to implement the same on Arduino Uno. So that was our main purpose. And in order to call this Arduino Uno, what I'll do is I'll again go to component mode, place mode, pick device, and here I'll search for Arduino. Here I'll search for Arduino, and down here you can see that because I had earlierly included Arduino related library files under library of Lab Center Electronics, because of that I'm having this Arduino versions, that is Lilypad, Arduino Mega, Arduino Nano, as well as Arduino Uno. For time being, we'll select this Arduino Uno, and here also here is where you can have a preview of the schematic. After that, hit OK. So right now you can see that it's not allowing us to place the component because this circuit is still running. So let me stop this simulation first. And in order to stop this simulation, all I got to do is I got to hit on this stop simulation. Now I can place my Arduino Uno. So after placing Arduino Uno, what all components do I require in order to have this blinky experiment? Now again I got to have a LED. Let me search for LED. So if you are not able to find LED, what other thing I can do is I can just right click on this previous component. I can hit on LED, LED. So here is where I can have the same LED again. So what I'll do is I'll place that LED. I'll rotate this LED. And here you can see that because it's a schematic, there is no onboard LED right now for this Arduino Uno. But the thing is, what I'll do is we already know that onboard LED for Arduino Uno is connected to digital pin 13. If I zoom in, I can see the digital pin 13. All I got to do is I got to connect this digital pin 13 to one end of this LED, followed by the other end to ground. So right now I am done with the connection, but for this thing to work, this Arduino Uno should be loaded with its own hex file or the binary file. And in order to load that hex file, all I got to do is I got to double click on this schematic of Arduino Uno, and this is where, if I let me zoom in. So under this program file, this field is blank right now. So all I got to do is I got to hit on this browse button and I can select the hex file. But before I do that, let me make use of this Arduino IDE, that which is a third party IDE, in order to generate hex file. So now what I'll do is I'll go to file, examples, I'll go to basics, blink. So this opens up blink sketch. Now what I'll do is I'll select only the program part, copy. I'll select a new file wherein I'll be pasting the program part. And here is where you can see that we have used LED built-in, that which maps onto digital pin number 13 of Arduino Uno. Now, in earlier cases, we were directly compiling and dumping the code onto our development board. But in order to have a standalone hex file, what we are supposed to do is we got to go to File, Preferences, and here is where we got to check an option. We got to check a field, that is show verbose output during compilation and upload. We are supposed to check these two fields. So this is where you got to be careful. You make sure that you open up your preference, that which you can find under file, and make sure you check these two fields. So after doing that, what we'll do is we'll compile this program first, and before I do that, let me save this program. What I'll do is I'll give a relevant name, Blinky for Proteus. For Proteus, I'll use short form Blinky for Pro dot .ino. Make sure that you always end your file name with extension .ino. Hit save. Right now our program code is getting compiled. And before you compile, so here I forgot to change the board to Arduino Uno. So here you can see that my board is still in Node MCU. What we are supposed to do is we got to change our board back to Arduino Uno. So this is Arduino Uno. Make sure that you change the board to Arduino Uno, and right after that you can compile. So right now we are done with compiling our program specifically for Arduino Uno, and right after doing that, under sketch, under sketch, you can find export compiled binary, or you can also do that with this shortcut, that is Control Alt S. So hit on this export compiled binary because we need standalone hex file. For that purpose, I got to hit on this export compiled binary. So right now we are done with exporting, and in order to have a look at that hex file, how exactly it looks like, all I got to do is I got to go to sketch and I got to hit on show sketch folder. and this is where I can find my standalone hex file. Let me zoom in. So earlier this was the only file that which we had, that is Blinky for Proteus, and right now this has created two more files. One is Blinky for Proteus standard.hex, and we'll make use of this hex file for Proteus EDA tool. So make sure where exactly this hex file is located. So this hex file is located under Documents Arduino Blinky for Proteus folder. So all I got to do is I got to get back to my Proteus EDA. Because I got to load that hex file onto this Arduino Uno. All I got to do is double tap on this, and under program file field we have a browse button. We have this button. You single tap on this, and we got to go to Documents. Under Documents, Arduino, and here is where I can find my folder. Just a minute, my the software has got freezed.
Wait for a minute.
The participants, because we were facing some technical issue over here. Right now we are all set and we'll continue. So here, all I got to do is I got to hit on this browse button and I got to select this blinky for. Okay. Now I hope everyone can see my screen. So what I got to do is I got to select this blinky for Proteus standard.hex file and I got to hit on this open button, and you can see that this program file has been loaded with this hex file, and all I got to do is hit OK. And after doing so, in order to simulate this schematic, all I got to do is I got to hit on play button. So right now you can see that this LED is blinking for every second, because delay back in our program, our delay was, we had set our delay to 1 second. So you can see that this pin number 13, let me zoom in. This pin number 13 is constantly switching between red color and blue color. Red color refers to logic 1, whereas blue color refers to logic 0. When I'm having this as red color, so this forward biases our LED, and in turn we can have emissions out of this LED. But when it's equal to 0, there won't be any potential difference on both the ends of this LED for current to flow, and it will be in off state. Let me stop this simulation and let me delete this. So that's how we can blink LED on and off without Arduino as well as with Arduino. Now let's see how to make use of LCD display, how to interface LCD display, that which is of size 16 cross 2, where 16 refers to column and 2 refers to number of rows. Right now this is how our schematic should look like. So for which, let's get back to our program back, and here let's search for LCD display. So here is where I got to search for LCD display of size 16 cross 2, and down here we are having in the description 16 cross 2 alphanumeric LCD display, and here is how it looks like. After selecting this LCD, hit on OK, and just by left clicking on this schematic area, we can place this component, and here what we are supposed to do is, in order to power up this LCD display, again we got to make use of power supply, which can got in terminal mode. Go to terminal mode, hit on power, as well as select ground and place the ground. So back in this LCD display, we are having on a whole 14 pins, out of which pin number starting from D0 to D7 falls under data pins, followed by RS, RW and enable are the control pins, where RS stands for register select, RW stands for read bar write, and enable stands and E stands for enable. And over here, VSS and VEE should be grounded. So let's ground them. And we got to connect this VDD to 5 volts. So right now we have powered up our LCD display. Only thing is we got to right now root the control wires. And before we root them, let's try to have an idea of what exactly RS stands for, what exactly RW and enable does. So right now control pins are RS, that which stands for register select, and it can take on two values, 0 and 1. When it's equal to 0, command register will be selected, and when it's equal to 1, data register will be selected. When RS is equal to 0, as I said, command register will be selected, and command register is the one that which guides or that which dictates the address. So that which dictates the address where data has to go and sit. And data register is where I got to pass on the ASCII values, wherein the ASCII values of the characters will be passed on. So each time an address should be specified for a character to display on 16x2 LCD display, let's say somewhere over here. So because we want this 8 to get printed on the very first portion, I got to first know its address. Only by knowing its address, I can then pass on its ASCII value. And the starting portion address is 0x80. And this first, I got to put on this 0x80 onto the command register. Only then I can pass on the ASCII value, that which is corresponding to small letter a. And in order to put that data, I got to select data register, and thereby this RS should switch from 0 to 1. So this is about register select. And the next control pin is R bar W. Here LCD display in most of the cases acts like an output device to which we will be writing data. And because we are trying to write some data out of R and W, I specifically want it to be in write mode. So for that purpose, because it's R/W, so by passing value equal to 0, by having this value equal to 0, so because it's so I can think of this as R/W bar. So by equating it to value equal to 0, I can have this as I can select write mode. So thereby what I'll do is we usually ground this R bar W. Followed by enable. The third control pin is enable. So under enable pin, what we usually do is after passing every data, what we'll do is will pass a short pulse of low to high transition under enable pin, that which is of very short duration. So here by now we did got to know that I got to again ground R bar W. So let's ground it. Now we are left out with resistor select enable and 8 data lines. So this LCD works in two modes. I can either have it working in 8 data line mode, or I can also have it working in just 4 data line mode, and we usually prefer 4 data line mode compared to that of 8 data line mode because less number of pins will be used. And for 8 data line mode we use only pins starting from D4, D5, D6 and D7. So for this we make use of pins D4, D5, D6 and D7. So now let's go through the program right now, for which again I'll make use of third party IDE, that is Arduino. Because Arduino comes up with its own set of examples, we need not to write any line over here. All we got to do is make use of the example programs that which are already inbuilt. So here all I got to do is go to file, under examples I got to select liquid crystal, and under liquid crystal I got to select hello world. So this opens up hello world example program. Now here let me select only the program part. Let me select only the program part. Let me select a new file to which I'll be pasting the copied program part. And here is where you can see that we are making use of LCD crystal, this function, that is header file liquid crystal.h. And here this is how it goes. Pin number 12 will be connected to resistor select, followed by 11th pin will be given to enable line. 11th digital pin 11 will be given to enable pin, followed by 5th pin will be given to D4, D5, D6 and D7 respectively. So that's how the connections are made over here. All I got to do is connect resistor select to pin number 12. And I got to connect remaining D4, D5, D6, D7 to pin number 11, 12, 13 and 4 to pin number 5, 4, 3, 2. So now let's get back to our program, wherein I got to first save this. Let's give it a relevant name, that is LCD for pro.ino, and hit save. Now I got to hit on export compiled library. So here we are trying to repeat the same drill in order to generate hex file. So right now you can see the message down here that is done compiling, and in order to view that hex file I got to hit on under sketch, I got to hit on show sketch folder. Here is where you can see that it has generated its respective hex file, and I got to make use of this hex file for my project. All I got to do is double click on this Arduino and I got to browse to the other file, that is LCD for Pro. Here is where I got to select standard X file. I got to hit on open and hit OK. Now all I got to do is just run this program. And here is where you can see that Hello World has been, so this LCD is working, and down here it's incrementing its count for every second. Now let's see how can we make use of virtual terminal. So for time being, let me remove this, or let it be as it is. We'll make use of some other pins. So for this, all I got to do is I got to first set the baud rate. Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible and my screen is getting shared. Now here, in order to have an idea of how to make use of virtual terminal, all I got to do is first set the baud rate, that is serial.begin, and let me set this baud rate to 9600. And under void loop, all I got to do is type serial dot print ln for next line. Under this, I can give any text, and let me give this text as Atal at JNNCE, and let me give a delay of 1 second. Because this delay function generates delay for milliseconds, we got to pass argument 1000 for 1 second delay. So right now let me save this program first. Let's give a relevant name. Let it be virtual terminal VT for Proteus Pro.ino. Hit save. So after this, I got to go to sketch. Under this, I got to hit on export compiled binary. So right now we are done compiling the program. Now I got to, in order to view the hex file, all I got to do is go to sketch and select show sketch folder. And this is where our hex file has got generated. All I got to do is I got to get back to my Proteus EDA tool, and down here, because digital pin 0 and 1 are multiplexed with UART functionality, that is TX and RX, all I got to do is I got to first I got to first select virtual terminal, that which can be got under instrumentation, virtual instrumentation. All I got to do is I got to select virtual terminal right from here, or I can also right click, go to place, and under virtual instrument I can select virtual terminal. So this is how I can place it. Now I got to connect TX of Arduino Uno to RX of this virtual terminal, and RX of Arduino Uno to TX of virtual terminal. Now all I got to do is I got to run this program. Before I run this program, I got to load the corresponding hex file, for which I got to double tap on this Arduino Uno, and I got to change the program to virtual terminal, that is VT for Pro standard.hex. Hit open and hit OK. All I got to do right now is hit play button, and you can see that it's printing Atal at JNC. Let me zoom in, and this window is appearing because of this virtual terminal that which I have connected. So Atal at JNC, and this message is printing for every second. Now let me stop this. We are trying, and this sort of connection is called as crisscross connection. This sort of connection is called as crisscross. So here we are trying, so this crisscross connection, we are trying to do this crisscross connection because it is all about UART connection. So this sort of communication we call as UART, Universal Asynchronous Receive and Transmit. So if there are any two systems like system 1 and system 2, all we got to do is, so we can think of this as two person. If this person is talking, if one person is talking, the other person has to listen. He has to make use of his ears, and he has to listen him. And if this person starts to talk, and this person has to listen. Now in a similar way, thinking of that concept, what they have done is, under UART, they have connected RX to TX. So here, if this system 2 is transmitting some data, system 1 has to listen, and if system 1 is speaking or transmitting any data, then system 2 has to listen, and we call this as crisscross connection, and ground is common in between. And before the start of the communication, this is called as asynchronous, because this before the start of the communication we are setting the baud rate to 9600, and hence it's called as asynchronous. So now the thing is, instead of just typing some text over here, we can also display the values that which are sensed by sensors, and that is our next experiment. So now let's make use of this LDR in order to display its value. So let's give a relevant name, that is LDR for Pro. Next. So let's place Arduino Uno first. The next component that which we require is LDR. So let's make use of torch LDR. So let me zoom in a bit. So here this is our LDR, and we all know how exactly a LDR works. So LDR stands for light dependent resistance, whose resistance will vary depending upon the illumination that which falls on this resistance. Okay, let me power up this LDR, for which I require power, followed by one ground. Okay, now the thing is, I'll be connecting one end of this LDR to VCC, the other end goes to A0 of Arduino Uno. Now all I got to do is I got to get back to Arduino, and I got to go to examples. Under basics, I got to search for analog read serial. So here is a program wherein we are trying to read the sensor that which is connected to pin number A0, and this value will in turn be mapped to variable sensor value, and in turn this sensor value will be printed serially. Okay, well, now let me make use of only the program part. Let me create a new file. Let me save this. Let's call it as LDR for pro.ino. Hit save. Now here under sketch, hit on export compile library. So after compilation, hit on show sketch folder, and here is where our hex file has got generated. Let's load that hex file. Hit OK, and along with this LDR I do also require virtual instrumentation. Now let's try to run this program. So let me change this program. Let me stop this simulation, double click. Now I got to search for LDR for Pro. There are two hex files over here that which I had created earlier. Just a minute. Okay, well, participants, because we are running short of time, so we can also I'll be sharing the slides. We can also realize the same. Like we can do this LDR connection, as well as we can also go for some other complicated. We can give projects assignment for students wherein you can assign some problem statement like depending upon the light illumination, you are supposed to blink, you are supposed to turn on an LED. Likewise, we can also interface this ultrasonic sensor. So this is how we can reduce the entire project cost as well as time, because we would have got a better idea of our code as well as expected result. So participants, if you are having any kind of queries, please do put it in the chat section. Provide software link, please. Okay, Basavadhane, I had given the software link earlier. Let me paste it again. So all you got to do is you got to go.
Thank you, sir.
All you got to do is you got to go for this link that I'm pasting in the chat in order to download the demonstration version of this Proteus software. And later I'll be sharing the Arduino related library files in the WhatsApp. Participants, if you are having any queries, please do put it in the chat.